Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I'm making a reader request for Dollar Tree hiking boots. If you'd like to make them, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here. Now, it doesn't matter if you're using Dollar Tree booties or baby shoes or whatever you've got, this can be adapted for all of those. I'm going to use premium felt, a foam for the midsole and a foam for the actual sole, and craft paper. I'm also going to be using embroidery thread and a material for the sock. Now this part is optional. You can do it now or after you wrap your entire boot, but I'm just going to trace on the very bottom of the bootie to the black foam, and that will be my sole. All right, set those aside and let's move on to the really cool part. These are 2-inch wide by 6-inch long strips of felt. Now here's the neato part. This doesn't matter. If you want to make a 6-inch tall boot, you can make a 6-inch by 6-inch. It'd be a little odd, but the magic is in this part here. So I have a lot of questions about how I get everything so stable. Things like this, little tricks like this is how. So I'm using craft paper. You can use a paper towel roll. You can use thick cardstock, even corrugated cardboard that's been ripped apart into a thin layer. And all you're going to do is create all of the weight and stability with this paper. So I'm just going to wrap mine around because unlike a paper towel roll, it's not already curved. So I'm just wrapping it around a pen, and then I'm going to be able to build, using my felt, I'm going to be able to use to make a solid, stable top part of the Dollar Tree bootie. So I'm just going to overlap it so that it covers an additional 1/2 inch around. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be building a gnome on top of these booties, which means it needs to be able to hold the weight. If you want to make your Dollar Tree roller legs, or you want to use the dowel legs, both of them will work with this method as well. All right, so I'm just going to let it expand inside the bootie, glue it, and then pull it out and glue the rest of it. Really making it solid. Don't burn yourself, which is why I'm using that hot glue stick. All right, repeat it for the second one, and now it's time to put them in the boots. We're gonna make a little round at the bottom and then glue up the sides so that those are secure. And now I'm going to weight the bootie. So I'm going to be using Dollar Tree vase filler. These are rocks that they have all the time at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be using glue and then some rocks and then some more glue and then some rocks so they don't shift and move. I get asked a lot if people can use beans or rice. Can you? Yes. Should you? Maybe not. They tend to mold, sprout, or attract critters, which is why I say don't use food products. All right, next up, I'm just going to glue on the sole. Here's another tip. The front of the Dollar Tree bootie is open, which means when people add weight to that, that is a potential for failure. For those of you who sell your gnomes, if you're adding weight to that middle, like this part here in the front, if you're adding weight in there, you need to wrap something around so that it doesn't fail. So I get a lot of emails from people who've purchased gnomes and from people who create gnomes where the bottom of their shoes has fallen off, and it's because there was weight in there, and just foam and a little hot glue isn't going to hold it over time. So that's just something to think about. If you want to weight that section, maybe add some string and glue it over the top of it, or additional foam. All right, so now that those are on, again, you can do that part later as well. Now it's the cool part, and we're going to cover it. I'm going to use my little strips of felt, some embroidery thread that hopefully matches this midsole color. So again, this is just my daughter's craft foam you get at the craft store. It's nothing special. And I'm going to glue the very bottom of the felt onto the very bottom front of the boot. I'm just lining it up and then letting that dry just a second so that it's secure and I don't shift it out of place. There you go. And then I just glue down the bottom all the way around. This part is super easy. I was listening to an Audible book I love Neil Gaiman. If you don't know him and you like quirky and funny stories, he writes books like Neverwhere and Good Omens and American Gods. He's really a really funny author. I don't know why I'm plugging him. I just really like him. So anyway, I'm kind of off in my own world listening to this. All right, so in order to get your seams tight, we're gonna glue the felt only to the bottom of the booty, not to this top portion here. Glue at the bottom and then glue just on the edge of the part you've already glued down of that felt. Use your fingernail or a stick or something, and do not cut it off until it has fully set. That's how you get that nice tight seam. For those of you new to making this stuff, you're going to find the center of your Dollar Tree booty by running your finger up that arc, and then you're going to pinch the two pieces of felt together so they create a little channel. Use a knotted piece of embroidery thread at the very base of where the, shoe starts to curve, and then you're just going to lace them up. This is where my daughter came in asking for a snack, so I lost this footage, but you're just going to lace it all the way up and tie it in a bow. Okay, so for the midsole, I'm going to use pinking shears. You can also use the paper cutter scissors. Just make sure they're making the triangle ones. Cut that foam all the way up, and then use an X-Acto knife or a rotary cutter to cut just the tips of those triangles off. So if you watch really closely, you'll actually see these little tiny brown triangles all over the place in just a second, and that is because I'm just cutting off the very, very tip. You see them all? Now I'm going to use a ruler and my rotary cutter and cut a straight line across. That'll be my midsole. Easy peasy, right? We're just going to line up the bumpy part at the bottom of our felt, and we're just going to glue that on. And makes a cute little midsole. All right, so I'm just using my detailed tip glue gun from Sure Bonder to make sure that I'm spreading out that glue a little bit so it's not really big like bulbous line of hot glue. I have a tendency just to make up words like bulby. I'm pretty sure that could be a great children's dinosaur show or something. Anywho, just did the same exact thing. Add a little hot glue. Press those two edges right here together to get a nice tight seam. And then I'm going to repeat it. Again, you can add another sole right here so it covers up the felt, whatever you'd like to do. On my little embroidery thread laces, I'm adding a little tiny bit of hot glue to the very bottom so they don't fray, and then I'm going to glue them right to my actual boot. How I want them to look. There we go. All right, now is the cool part. You can stop with this and just leave it like that, cut this off, whatever you'd like, but I am going to set my gnome on top, and I want a nice thick squishy sock to be the divider between the two of them. So you can use felt, you can use fleece, you can use a rib knit, whatever you got on hand, and you're going to cut a 1.5 inch tall, I think this is what, by 6 inches wide, 7 inches wide. I don't end up using all this, but basically I'm just going to cut 1.5 inches so that I can create a really cool kind of like thick cuff, but I'm actually going to turn the cuff onto the inside, because what I expect to happen is when I put the gnome on, I'm actually going to get it in like a nice little squish to the sock. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to fold down that top 1/4 inch or so. And did I measure this? No, I did not. So it could be a 1/2 inch. You can see I'm working on a ruler edge there. No, it's more like 1/3 of an inch. And then I'm just going to tuck it in between the paper and the felt. And this is the cool part. If you want a squished down looking boot, so like a worn boot, don't glue it when I glue it at the end. But if you want like a nice tight, clean and finished boot, you can see how I glue it at the end. All right, so I'm just going to tuck these down and tacking it into place at the very bottom. And then I'll glue around the entire top edge. Speaking of which, the sole of these shoes bothers me. I would love to know in the comment section, would you do the sole at the end so that it covers all the way up to that brown midsole? Or would you do the sole in the beginning? Let me know in the comments. I'm torn. I think I'd probably do it at the end again. All right, so anyway, I'm going to do the same exact thing where I push the two edges together to get that nice tight seam, and now I can glue it down all the way around the inside, and I will repeat that for the other boot as well. So this is the part, if you want a nice rough and tumbly worn-in look, you can not glue it together here at the felt boot and the sock, or you can do a nice streamlined look for like I did here. They're too cute. I love them. But what matters is that, do you like them? Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of these? Hey, as always, I appreciate you being here with me. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.